Nishant, I think you virtually summed up the whole game. I'm sure the audience would have got a different flavor of cybersecurity because we in the armed forces are not generally aware of what happens outside in the civil world. He mentioned that the cyber frauds, the crimes are taking place such an alarming pace that it has to be a technology edge which needs to improve so that we can catch up with this rate of crimes which are going up. Now we have with the consent of the sir, Bhatnagar sir, can we have about 10 minutes question answer session? If there are any questions first. All right. Yeah, can I have some questions please? Okay, we'll start from, okay, there please. I'll come up, yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'm Brigadier Bhardwaj. I am doing research fellowship with USI. Although this is a very typically AI-oriented issue, but I have a question, or rather a point of concern about cyber issues. Like the last speaker said, cyber thanas aren't existing. So, isn't it an AI problem? Absolutely. Why do you require a physical thana? Can't we have an app-based thana in which, let's say, a person who's been subjected to a cyber crime puts in details and the AI system takes on? Just a question. We don't require a physical thana because there you require a person to be learned enough to understand a cyber crime has happened. So why do we want to keep a human element? Second question, if I may. It is regarding military and use of DPI. As part of my research, I was trying to understand that is there a possibility for military to use DPI infrastructures, or am I wrong to understand that we are not using it? I'm sure we're using it. So comments on, of the chair on this.
I'll leave the first portion of the question to, I think, Nishant, because he will be the best person, and he'll explain to you how his own 1930 or the cybercrime portal is playing the role which you have mentioned. But understand that we have a federal system where the crimes can take place at one location, and actually the spread of it is not even national. It crosses the national boundaries also. So that's where maybe an app will not help, but I'll leave it to him to explain in a better manner.
Firstly, I did not say cyber thanas are not existing. They are existing, but not in all the districts. They are existing. So that I told that we are planning to give it. But we should understand that cyber frauds are happening not only with learned people. We have to think the real ground situation, because very, ground level people, a person who is pulling a rickshaw also loses his 500 or 1000 rupees. Now we cannot expect him to go and use an app at this particular point of time and then lodge his complaint. So for that also we are having URL cybercrime.gov.in. There is a portal where people can go, but how many people can even go and log into that portal and lodge their complaint? So they are even writing, they are taking help of somebody. We are getting complaints written in Hindi, in Roman fonts. So app-based things it's okay, but for that the complainant should also be that much tech savvy who can use that. So we have to think of each and every person who can go. He first thinks something happens, he first tries to go to the thana, police station. So when he goes to a thana, then they says, okay, then go and lodge your complaint to the cyber thana, which is located at that district. This type of things happen. So to facilitate the common man, we are planning that there should be at least one place where whether there are two persons sitting and they help them in, even if we are using an app, they can help them in lodging their complaint on the app. For example, right now, the police personnel at Cyber Thana, they help the complainant to sit and then they lodge their complaint on the cybercrime portal, which comes to us. So this is how the things are working right now. So we are planning there should be at least one location at every district where a victim can go and talk at least. That is the major point.
Yeah. It is more of like a cyber education, because in India all the people are not equally educated. That the board member has been told, if you see that I am a cyber person also, all the speed at which the changes is happening and the pace at the education is required, there is a huge gap is happening. Because everybody is not equally educated. The ground people are not equally educated. A farmer or a rickshaw puller or any other. They are also doing nowadays QR code, UPI has given a leverage to do the transactions with a fraction of second, and everybody is doing. And who knows, a small SMS is coming, doing some transaction and all these things. Cyber Thana specifically will work like a 1930 already. it is excellent working everywhere and all these things. But at the same time, if you see, the Thana will specifically will also educate the people on the ground level. That's the gap which is happening right now. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying these issues, but notwithstanding that there are certain states which have already developed small apps for resolving some of these issues. But the nature of crime and the awareness levels, like what the speaker mentioned, is so desperate today that maybe an app may not, a national level app may not work, but that's a good idea. We'll examine this possibility. Insofar as the DPI is concerned, let me be very frank that the DPI is available to each one of us here, the military personnel, their dependents. It's available to you. Now, the utilization of the DPI by the services themselves, definitely it's got its pitfalls, while all three services need to have their air-gapped networks. Now, there is no solution to having a separate, having a common architecture which is full of vulnerabilities vis-a-vis a air-gapped network which can protect you from a large number of threats which are there in the open domain. So that's the reason why many countries today have actually migrated to air-gapped networks for their services, which are completely isolated from the digital ecosystem. So the services need to have an ecosystem which is different from the public infrastructure for their operational functioning. So this is a necessity in view of the fact that there are more, in fact, today we may not, that the landscape, the technology landscape is changing so fast that, by the time you try and reach out to those, threats, the entire ecosystem has actually changed. Now, this is one of the reasons why probably the air-gapped network today still remains one of the best methods. Second, as citizens of the country, including each one of us and our families, we are part of this ecosystem. So I would actually reach out to say that we need to use the men and women in the armed forces, our families need to use the digital ecosystem in a much better manner so that the benefits of whatever the government initiatives are being taken today need to reach out to them. So that's something which we need to look at within our services itself. That's one thing which you could actually put across. I think that answers your question.
So I have a question.
Yeah, please.
I am Adarsh from Indian Express. And I just wanted to know that, as when we talk about cyber warfare, which is another new term that we've seen in the recent times coming up. So how Gen AI can actually be leveraged to enhance or let's say bolster our, warfare strategy or our, capacities. And, can you share some use cases around that? How Gen AI can actually be leveraged to improve our warfare strategy and also protect our data and protect ourselves from, the opponents.
As I had brought out in my presentation, a lot of work that is done by our cyber agencies is with very, small startups, youngsters who have just out of their college and they've started with some innovative work. So we're always on the lookout for such talented, young people who have the, sort of the jazba to do something different. So, there are organizations like DSCI and various other agencies which are grooming these startups, and we keep getting connected to them. On the other hand, we on our own also scout for such persons who can directly also work with us. We can give them tasks. So those are aspects which we continue to do. You have a follow-up question?
Yes, just a follow-up to that. I actually wanted to understand what could be some possible use cases of Gen AI when it comes to warfare strategies.
Generative AI?
Yeah, generative AI.
Okay. So when we talk of generative AI, today we are talking of LLMs. Now we are going on to RAG. Okay, so we need a lot of data that we keep generating in our, let's say, our security operations center. Okay, so we need a lot of data to be passed. Our forensics, when we are doing mobile or data, hard disk forensics. So a whole lot of time and effort is spent in actually passing through this data. So if we have Gen AI based tools, then those could be speeded up. The whole idea is to do much more with much less manpower. So wherever there are processes that are time consuming, for example, in the security operations center or forensics, those are the use cases I did flash in my presentation as well. So those are key areas where we would like some Gen AI aspects to be brought in.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, hello. Sir, I had a question actually.
Yeah, please.
I actually had 3 questions. First to the chair. Sir, regarding the new... Hello? Hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible? Yeah, thank you. So, sir, my initial question is regarding the new generative models which are used for malicious content. Like we know ChatGPT, but I'm a researcher at the Center for Land Warfare Studies, an army think tank similar to Sanjo's, and we do all kind of research, even language models and such. I came across a language model by the name of WormGPT. It is essentially designed for malicious content, like phishing, automated tracking of people, data gathering and all that. I mean, and it is readily available on the darknet, and it is a paid service. So how do we tackle against things like that when generative models are coming in? That is my first question to the session chair. Second to the Commodore. Sir, regarding social engineering, which you presented in your slide, there are several online packages. The Kali Linux OS, which is there. There are several packages, Jack the Ripper, for example. And this is the era of quantum technology, where processing speed is way higher than the average. I mean, that Jack the Ripper program, what it essentially does is, it gathers your social information from social media platforms and analyzes the probability of what your password is. Even though many of us don't follow this dialect of don't use anything similar to your name, similar to your family's name, majority of people don't follow that. So in the advent of quantum computing, will that change? Because the number of possible outcomes and calibrations which needed huge computing power in the past can now be done in an instant. So will that factor a new change in? And last, sir, to the wing commander. Sir, in your presentation, you had shown 3 language models, Godzilla, the alpaca, llama and all that. My question was, I had come across a language model and these had 6 billion and 7 billion parameters, if I'm not wrong. So I had come across a language model which had 180 billion parameters by the name of Falcon. My question is, why doesn't Udan use that? Is it because of the computational issue? Because yeah, when you use a larger language model with larger parameters, the computational process required for it is larger. So if you could clarify it. I'm sorry for asking you 3 questions simultaneously.
Okay, I think we'll start with the Air Force first, and then we'll come up. So I will respond to you in the last. Okay.
Yeah, you can hear me? Yeah. See, the requirement of this Vayu GPT was in hands of every air warrior, and we're looking towards in a quantized manner. So specifically, even the 7 billion parameter llama or Godzilla and Mistral that we have used, we have quantized all that, and we're planning to put it on small tabs or kind of the equipment that can run locally on a computer, a normal computer also. So I understand we have done for the OPT 66 billion parameter we have established within our center of excellence. Falcon we have not yet tried, but once we have reached 60 billion, 180 billion is not much a difficult task. But this requirement was for a quantized model. So we work towards, even llama is quantized in that case. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. On the aspect of Worm GPT, etc., there are various such applications that have come up on the net, and these are challenges, right? Worm GPT, Fraud GPT. So you just go to them, and it's become so easy. That's exactly what I brought out, that it's become so easy for the average hacker today to belt out some very, very complex malware and set it out, right? So that is the reason there are so many use cases that we have flashed, which is actually the need of the hour. We need to bring out solutions. We have to kill AI. I mean, not kill AI, but use AI to kill the malicious AI, right? So that's the very reason why we continuously look out for solutions. And There is no, today you're talking of worm GPT, tomorrow there'll be something else. So we've got to continuously keep updating ourselves and bringing out new solutions. And as far as possible, proactive rather than, only keep reacting.
Okay, coming on to your first question, which is addressed to me, I confessed right in the beginning that this artificial intelligence is a domain which is full of challenges and opportunities, both. Like he mentioned, about killing AI. Now, I'd mentioned again that at the UN level also we have this particular inmates being thought about all across nations today as to what are the positive impact and the negative impact. Now, society at large needs to now come together to make sure that the negative impact of AI needs to be reduced. But there are commercial considerations. It's a human tendency where, you look at commercial gains from projects. So should there be regulation in the domain? Is it implementable? It is enforceable? So these are the challenges with which nation states are today, looking at. So I'm sure you're also aware today that the government of India is also looking at, having some sort of, regulation or measures which can ensure that the negative impact of AI doesn't affect our citizens. So that's something which the government is looking at. There are a lot of discussions going on in this domain, a lot of deliberations going on. So it's an open discussion which takes place. So the think tanks, the public at large, the civil society members, all of them can actually contribute towards this discussion and see how we can refine this particular new development which has come, which has got an impact on each one of us. That's all that I can respond to your first question.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to respond to his question, if that is okay with the panel.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm just sharing our experiences. I work for a cybersecurity company. I'm the CISO. But I have been AI researcher for the last 10 years, working in Indian Institute of Science and then University of Cambridge. And I definitely agree with both you and him that the AI has made hacking very, very easy. So, but then why does hacking become successful? Is because of actually human errors, because of people who are not aware, or their awareness is not as much as hackers who actually exploit them. So in this regard, in our own organization, we have seen tremendous amount of hacking that is happening in our customers we offer to other organizations. So this is what we are doing. And I'm sure this is no different from defense, because I was speaking to a group captain here, sitting here, and they test whether their systems are working or not by actually simulating an attack in physical simulation. So this is what we do. We actually use AI to simulate attack on people with some organization. For example, if it is some Fortune 500 company, we use things like worm GPT, and it will go scan everything about a person and optimize a phishing campaign and then attack. He wouldn't know that. And if he clicks, then we know that he can be a victim like that tomorrow. So if he becomes a victim for our simulation, then that email is sent to their own HR team, and he will be made to undergo a training process. So this is how humans are being enabled to understand the misuse of AI. I just wanted to share what we do. Thank you.
So you had a question, sir?
First of all, my compliments to the chair and the complete panel for very nicely having brought out, especially with the help of use cases, how the three armed forces are utilizing AI in various aspects of operations. It's more of an observation that I want to bring across this point. Wing Commander Thapa just brought out, especially with respect to it is more important for the industry people here, present here. He brought out that there are also some decision support systems and also some combat planning systems, different names are being used, which are, amalgamation of various kind of data, various kind of imagery, maps, etc., and so many things, and also leading you to be able to plan, also give you decision options. So in that relies, in the morning there were a lot of discussions here, and people were looking for somebody from UDAN to know whom to contact in case, because they have a lot of applications which are running on data, which they wanted to have interface whom to connect with. So it'd be nice if you could also interact this thing. There are a few stalls also put up at the ground floor. Maybe visit to that place will also help the industry, and it'll also take the industry forward. The software that he's talked of is also being used in Israel in the present day war that is on. They're using it big way to generate the kind of options that they have. It's not possible for any Air Force in that small an area to address 50 odd targets in a short span of time, less than a day. They're using a software called Gospel, which is very much similar to what Wing Commander Thapa just brought out. That's a small observation from my side. It's a good input for maybe industry in case they want to make use of this thing. Thank you.
Okay, I think we will come to this, we'll close this session here. Extremely grateful to the audience for raising so many questions first, and to the fellow panelists for giving such an insight into the respective fields of expertise. But the bottom line is, I think somebody mentioned here, what you see, what you read, what you hear is something you need to be extremely cautious and careful in future. Understand the power of AI, both positive and negative impact of it. And as citizens, like rightly pointed out by one of the speakers, we as citizens of the country need to be aware of this vulnerability, and that's the bottom line. Thank you very much.